benchmark minimum academic standard to what we will now call core curriculum minimum academic standard, in order to allow for a very good blend in the delivery of teaching and learning. The second feature, of course, is that the curriculum, the new core curriculum, provides for 70% course content, while the remaining 30% are left for universities to fill in based on their own peculiarities or individual peculiarities. And the other feature of the curriculum is that entrepreneurship has now been repackaged to give it more meaning, to make it subject specific in the teaching and learning. And of course, we observe that we have so many general courses being loaded. At the end of the day, a student will graduate having on his transcript courses that are almost 30 to 40 courses that are not relevant to his field of study. So we try to reduce it from, I think, 36 to 12, the general courses. And again, another unique attribute of the curriculum is we tend to unbundle some programs, because just like the last present, the commission unbundled it, and some of the course unit made innovation and specialization in such a program. Then, coming to the issue of employability or unemployment is an issue that, everywhere, unemployability. What we need to understand is that what do we mean by unemployability, or a graduate is not being employed? The simple reason is that that graduate does not possess certain skills relevant or being expected by the employer. We also took into cognizance of that. I expected that one of the presenters, as a way of recap, will highlight some of the critical skills, both hard and soft skills, though they are being mentioned in another way, and not everybody will understand. For instance, the ICT, which is one of the soft skills, is being mentioned in so many ways. We have so many skills, both hard and soft skills, communication skills, critical thinking skills, collaborative skills, and so many other skills. So it is important that such things should be given due consideration in all what we are doing, trying to tell public that no, it's not that your certificate is not relevant, but you fail to possess certain skills that will make you employable when you come to labor market space. Then I'm so happy that we have some academics here who are bold enough, who are courageous, to make self-confession of what they do, of the kind of baggage, is it baggage in, baggage out? You give your student handout, they cram it and return it to you. At the end of the day, they are turned out irrelevant. So to me, it's self-confession. Though government has its own problem or challenge. Self-confession in the way that, for instance, the CEO of Tongston, in mini celebration, signed an MOU with Gombe State University for certain programs and projects. My advice, sir, is before the implementation of the MOU, try to design baseline information. It will really help you to understand the university, the way you will go about the implementation of the MOU. I can tell you, sir, for free, that if you go around most of our universities, some lecturers don't have even email. Some lecturers don't have emails. Some don't know how to even operate computers. They are living, in another world. This world is not for them. We are talking of ICT. What it means by ICT now is fourth industrial revolution. We are being driven by, a kind of, not even knowledge-driven economy, but ICT-driven economy, whereby you deploy so many platforms to facilitate teaching and learning without constraint to space, time, and energy, and things like that. So I can tell you at the end of the day, the result you get from the baseline information, you'll be shocked. ASU is on strike. Yes, government failed to meet some of their demands. But really, go back and check how many researches in Nigerian universities are patented. How many have been concluded successfully? Tech Fund spent a lot of billions on universities in research in Nigerian universities. Let them bring out the research results or the impact of such research, on the community. Then, entrepreneurship is about mindset changing the mindset. Trying to preach to our graduates not to depend on government, but job provider, not job seeker. That's the essence. Then, partnership, as said by our last speaker. Well, we are now in a situation whereby we just have to do with private sector because they are the engine of growth and development. We must partner with them. But the way and manner we partner with them is another issue. We at the National University, we have been on this for a very long time. But I can tell you, partnering with private sector, the challenge is not with the government, but with the private sector. Some of the companies don't want to engage students on internship or sideways. Why? Because the gap is too big that they don't have that time to be teaching those students all over again for that short period. The expectation is that the gap is very minimal to the extent that when they go there, it will be easy, seamless for them to integrate. But when you go there, you will find out that a student is being taught with particular equipment that was taught, that his teacher, who is now a professor, was taught with. And from that period to now, maybe such equipment had been reviewed, revised, maybe more than 10 times. And the student is not aware. You say you are a student of engineering. This is a particular equipment for so this. He has never seen it before. So many industries complain that at the end of the day, students, break their equipment. Such equipment is very expensive. So that is why they are running away. And again, look at the staff or the academics. You say, okay, you want them to come to universities to share practical knowledge, experience, or academics going to industry to also get, kind of state of the art. It's still the same. They are not on the same page. Always complaining. I can also tell you for free, sir, that some years back, I happened to be a secretary to a panel that visited one of the oldest universities in Nigeria that we normally call them or refer to them as first generation universities. So we visited one lab and I was embarrassed. When we were going around looking at equipment, those that are functional, those that are not functional, a professor came across one equipment, specifically, to be precise, microscope. He looked at it, said, what is this kind of? Then the technician said, this is microscope. It has been here since 60s, and it's being used, is functional. And he confessed that during the time of his undergraduate, he has never seen this kind of equipment. And he's a professor now. When you go, you will see so many of them. So for this, as you are right. So let me read my little remarks. Let me first commend the organizers of this summit for tilting their compass on a topical and rich theme hinged towards raising the tempo of entrepreneurial activities in not only Nigerian universities but also the nation at large. Pursuant to repositioning our universities to be entrepreneurial in nature and to deliver optimally on its regulatory functions so as to contribute to national development, the National Universities Commission constituted a strategic advisory committee called StratCom in early 2018, which is made up of erudite scholars with proven and invaluable expertise in higher education administration. The mandate of the committee was to advise the government on how to scale up on its regulatory functions in line with the ministerial strategic plan for the education sector, and also for the attainment of national objectives vis-a-vis sustainable development goal and Agenda 2063 of the African Union. In pursuit of its terms of reference, the committee identified some key challenges facing the Nigerian university system, among which are the depressed quality of graduate, poor skills development and entrepreneurship promotion, etc. This gave rise to the establishment of the Directorate of Skills and Skills Development and Entrepreneurship in March 2018 at the National Universities Commission. The Directorate is saddled with the responsibility of partnering with stakeholders to support skills development, deploy practical university industry linkages, and a robust entrepreneurship education for national development, among others. To raise our gaze towards observing the private sector and industry flavor shortly after the birth of the Directorate, the Commission considered it expedient to hold several months of engagement with key critical stakeholders, such as the National Economic Summit Group, the Nigerian private sector and industry think tank, in May 2019, which led to the conceptualization of an approach to deepen the relationship between the Nigerian university system and industry, adopting the triple helix model of university industry and government relationship. As you all know, national development in this context is paramount to every government, and all sectors of the economy play a key role to ensure it, which of course the tertiary education subsector, as the university education, is no exception. You will also recall that the federal government of Nigeria had earlier expressed the intention of lifting about 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in 10 years. Given this projection and with the impact of university education in our societies and the economy at large, it behooves on the Nigerian university system to contribute its quota in achieving this goal. The rate of unemployment after graduation is quite alarming. They need to put in place practical steps that will encourage entrepreneurship and enhance innovations. Quality research and entrepreneurship cannot be overemphasized in achieving the express intention of government, aside the fact that it will also impact on the national economy. Consequently, beyond the contribution of Nigerian universities through entrepreneurship development centers, Nigerian universities must seek to work with private organizations like yours to integrate innovative ideas and develop policies that will make not just student graduate entrepreneurs, but also our universities. On our own part as the Commission, we have concluded a comprehensive curriculum review of all academic programs taught in Nigerian universities to infuse innovation and specialization with blended learning in delivery of all programs. I've mentioned the features of the new curriculum. It is also instructive to note that as part of its effort to boost economic growth and reduce unemployment among graduates of Nigerian tertiary institutions, the Central Bank of Nigeria, in partnership with tertiary institutions, regulatory agencies, and other strategic stakeholders, introduced the Tertiary Institutions Entrepreneurship Scheme, TIES. The scheme is designed to create a paradigm shift in the promotion of entrepreneurship culture geared toward job creation, economic growth, and sustainable development by way of providing reorientation, training, and innovative financing model that will enhance the entrepreneurial ecosystem with transformational impact on the economy. I'm part of the board of experts for tertiary institutions education scheme or entrepreneurship scheme. As we commence deliberation to address challenges of business and enterprises in Nigeria in partnership with our universities, I implore you and other value-adding organizations to bear in mind that the NUC is more than open to partner with you towards sustainable entrepreneurship development in our universities. Once again, I welcome you and wish you fruitful deliberation. That's all I have. And I thank you so much. And I am looking forward to having this kind of summit. Thank you.
We can do more than that. Please wait, sir. Sorry, sir. Please wait. I don't want you to go and come back again for your award. Yes, we need to appreciate your presence and we need to celebrate you for the advice and the delivery. Please, one more time, a round of applause for our speaker. While we present him with the award, please let us remember to fill the pledge form that we have in our files. It's very important to the organizers and it will really help us to arrange better events in the nearest future. One more time, a round of applause for him, for his wonderful presentation. Madam Ladan Ashafa, thank you very much for coming. Now, moving on, we have another keynote address. This time around, we are shifting to bridging the gap technical and vocational education and training as mainstream education to meet the social economic demands for Africa. This presentation will be made by Ajia S. Ahmed. She is the Director Liaison Office, representing Professor Idris Muhammad Bugaji, Executive Secretary, National Board of Technical Education. Please, let's appreciate her. She's already here. Before I finish my introduction, we can do better than that. I'm not handing the mic to her until I can feel the roof shaking. Thank you for coming back.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Bilkisu Salijo Ahmad, representing the ESNBT, Professor Bugaji. So he is unavoidably absent due to some prior engagements. So I'm here to present his paper as it is. So I want, on behalf of the ES, to appreciate the organizers of this summit, more especially Engineer Ben Tongo. This summit is very apt and it's very timely. Thank you very much. So I'll read Professor Bugaji's paper. So I'm delighted to be invited to the 2022 Global Tongston Entrepreneurial Education Summit and to speak on the topic Bridging the Gap, TVET and Mainstream Education to Meet Socio-Economic Demands for Africa. So Africa constitutes about 1.4 billion people, or 16.72% of global population, according to United Nations. While Nigeria's population is estimated to be over 200 million, or 14% of African population, with about 70% under the age of 30. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, Nigeria has about 33.3 unemployed rate and 42.5 youth unemployment. Globally, TVET has been recognized as the prime driver of national development, becoming the one top agenda of governments around the world. Newly industrialized countries, NICS, such as Taiwan, South Korea, China, Malaysia, Singapore, India, and Brazil, among others, attributed their economic growth and national development to TVET. Many developing countries, including Nigeria, are experiencing socio-economic challenges such as unemployment, poverty, cybercrime, banditry, kidnapping, militancy, insurgency, armed robbery, etc. One of the sustainable solutions to address these challenges is to implement a well-articulated and practicable skills development program. There is no doubt that TVET is the route to skills development, as it provides a veritable tool to employment and ensures that citizens are continuously reskills and upskills since it provides employment. Between 1960 to date, Nigeria's TVET system has undergone 6 major reforms. These are the TVET reform of 1977, 1985, 1993, 2000, 2007, and 2010. However, there have been challenges in the implementation of these reforms. Some of these challenges include: 1. Inadequate funding, which is one of the leading challenges of all implementing TVET reforms in Nigeria. Faulty policy and institutional framework, which is a critical challenge to the planning and implementation of any policy. Weak TVET quality assurance, they ought to be. Lack of sufficiency trained manpower, which is a big challenge for implementing the TVET reforms in Nigeria. Inadequate or are in deplorable infrastructure, facilities and utility service, as it is very difficult in Nigeria to have classrooms where all lectures are delivered through PowerPoint presentation. Even when the resources are there, the power supply is not stable and cost of running generators are being unbearable. Inadequate private sector support and involvement of industry, because TVET must be industry driven, and most of the industries and SMEs in Nigeria are owned and managed by the private sector. But the industrial sector in Nigeria is not growing compared to the rate of our population growth, making the industrial sector appearing to be weak. Although in our current democratic dispensation, new industries and enterprise have been established through direct foreign investment and entrepreneurial activities of Nigeria, but they are not enough to meet the local demands of goods and services and employ the Nigerian TVET graduates who are jobless. Apathy towards TVET, which is mostly due to the orientation from the colonial era, that those with technical background are considered as second class or inferior to those that have with conventional education. Also, where their progression within the services is terminal, at some point discouraging most parents and candidates from pursuing TVET qualification. There is also a belief that TVET is meant for dropouts or serve as an option for those who are unable to get admission to study engineering, medicine, pharmacy, law, etc. in the university. So we at NBT now, our slogan now is skills without degrees. So poverty presently, generally, parents prefer degree to skills for their children. That psyche has to be changed. So the white collar job now is no is in a is the sorry please the blue white collar dichotomy is over now. What we have now is the new collar job. Typically, a closer look at this, the Sokoto born Zelani Aliyu did not acquire a degree before he left the shores of Nigeria for US. He only had a HND from Waziri Umaru Federal Polytechnic Birnin Kebbi. And in the US, no one asks for his degree. They vetted his ability to design motor cars, and he did the Chevrolet superbly well. In other words, only his skills mattered, not his paper qualification. So So the current reform of 2010 is the TVET sector in Nigeria is the institutionalization of a system that promotes lifelong learning and international recognition for skill possessed by Nigerians, whether through formal or informal training. This system is referred to as Nigerian Skills Qualification Framework, which is the NSQF. This is a system for development, classification, recognition of skills, knowledge, understanding, and competencies acquired by individual, irrespective of where and how the training or skills were acquired. It allows TVET and academic qualifications to be harmonized in line with industry requirements, unified and streamlined. NSQF provides access to vocational education and training opportunities. It improves career mobility and makes career progression routes easier and clearer in a rapidly changing world of work. With NSQS qualification awarded by the awarding bodies are relevant to the perceived social and economic needs of the industry. It increases the influence of stakeholders in the development of qualification so that it is more responsive to the need of the labor market. NSQS is made and can do, and the skills and knowledge that employers say they need. Those NSQS is to ensure that Demand for skilled employers in Nigeria is made by TVET supply. The advantage of here is the regulation, trainers, and awarding bodies are all different stakeholders, unlike the trade tests. To further strengthen skill development, the NBT developed a concept note on Nigeria Youth Skill Empowerment (NYSE), which will facilitate effective technology transfer from Europe to Nigeria. The aim of the NYSC program is to produce young people with requisite vocational and technical skills in industrial production and other market relevant competencies that will be compatible with the national and international economics. The project will provide an opportunity to other model answers to contemporary political, social, and economic issues that will benefit both developed and developing nations. Sub-Saharan Africa will learn as a best practice the production of enlightened and skilled young people that can fit into and become compatible with the global economy. The NSQF is thus the solution to the socio-economic demand for the African and will help bridge the gap between TVET and mainstream education. This is ready to practice in some African countries. This is already practiced in some African countries, such as Morocco, and it is well coordinated, will make African an exporter of labor to the world, which will in turn help in the reduction of poverty and crime, which is well spread across the continent. Wishing the summit fruitful deliberation, and MBT awaits the outcome of this interface between stakeholders to provide input for the way forward for TVET education. Thank you for listening.
Okay, we can do more than that. We can do more than that. Thank you very much, Ma. It's been a wonderful presentation so far. It's from great advice to great conversation to great discourse from the beginning of this summit to this very moment. I've been asked to inform everybody here that after a few more presentations, we'll go for our lunch break, and it's worth waiting for. We will enjoy ourselves today. We are not only learning from our scholars, we are also going to learn more at the end of it. I'm also here to tell you that some of you might be asking now, what is the meaning of this Tongston? Okay, they brought in somebody from education. They brought in someone from where? Media. We are bringing in people from finance. We are discussing entrepreneurship. What's the meaning? What do we stand for? Entrepreneurship thinking is not the only thing that Tongston is all about. Tongston is global, and Tongston services public, private, and non-profit sectors. Tongston serves as an entrepreneur and entrepreneur educator for schools, industries, and the government. As it's also, if you need trainings for your teachers, you need training for your colleagues at work on this entrepreneurial mindset that we've been discussing from the inception of this summit, Tongston is the place to go to. Also, Tongston is open to partnership and has already done so many with various organizations, including the U.S. Association for Small Business and Entrepreneurship, Association of Accredited Small Business Consultants, CPD UK, International Council for Small Business, International Institute of Directors UK and Nigeria, Gombe State Governor, as we have mentioned earlier on, we signed an MOU, right? My CEO. Yes, so this is just to mention but few of what we have been able to achieve within 2 years. Please, if your hands are not too busy, let us appreciate Tongston. We can do better than that. This is the reason why we are here. Yes, our big idea in Tongston is entrepreneurial thinking through education, leveraging on business, media, and finance for global sustainable socio-economic development. Do you now see the reason why we are bringing in people from education now? Why we are bringing in people from finance? Why we are bringing in people from media? It's because those are the scope of what Tongston is all about, what we are representing. Now, I'll pause on that. I'll still come back to tell you more about Tongston, but I would like to call on our next speaker. The speaker will be speaking on the key to unlocking access to risk adjustment. To risk-adjusted capital for MSMEs, and our presenter will be Barrister Vera Indanusa. She is here to represent the Association of Women Entrepreneurs. Please, I'd like for you to appreciate my speakers. They are not here for us to just clap for them as if they wanted to speak to us on something very small. This is a big thing. You're welcome back. Please, you can do more. You are not clapping again. I will not give her the mic until I hear something thunderous. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't want to join your mentor and your teacher to say that you talk too much. Good afternoon. It's been a very good day, right? I'm glad the hall is still full. Congratulations, Tongston. This is wonderful. I'm glad I'm here. I appreciate the honor of giving me this opportunity to speak on this platform. Thank you very much. And then, like the MC said, a lot of us want to partner with you. If you don't partner with women entrepreneurs, who else will you partner with? I bring you greetings from Nigerian Association of Women Entrepreneurs. And it will be our joy to partner with you, seeing that we have virtually same goals, same vision. A lot of areas we can partner together and work with very well. And I hope that before I leave here, we'll be able to start the discussion. Thank you very much. The key to unlocking access to risk-adjusted capital for MSMEs. For over 5 decades running, oil and its derivatives have played the dominant role in the Nigerian economy, contributing about 20% GDP annually, 90% of the country's foreign exchange earnings, and about 85% of the federal government collectible revenue. Due to the global oil price reduction, it is no longer safe for Nigeria to depend solely on oil as a means of revenue earnings. Against this backdrop, there is now serious unemployment, insecurity, kidnapping, banditry, unknown gunmen, uncontrolled population explosion, shortages of agricultural products, resulting in food crisis and national stabilities. Hence, micro, small, and medium enterprises, MSME, are seen as the key result to the looming crisis. Indeed, MSMEs are universally hailed as the engine of economic growth, possessing concrete potentials to actively revamp the Nigerian economy. Because of time, I don't want to run foul of speaking too much, so I may just be reading most of them, but once in a while I pause to say one or two things. Thank you. Micro, small, and medium enterprises are businesses whose personnel, I think somebody mentioned that, numbers fall below certain limits. The abbreviation MSME is used in the European Union and by international organizations such as World Trade Organizations, WTO. MSMEs outnumber large companies by a wide margin and also employ large numbers of people. MSMEs are said to be responsible for driving innovation and competition in many economic sectors of the nation. Almost all the previous speakers have alluded to this fact. So we cannot underplay the role of MSMEs in any economy, most especially in Nigeria. To attain accelerated MSMEs industrialization, we would need to overcome the key bottlenecks to enhancing productivity through MSMEs. In the manufacturing industrial sector, there is a question of low-level technology and poor technology choice. While new processes and procedures have revolutionized the manufacturing industry in the industrialized nations, industries in Nigeria, especially MSMEs, are producing with obsolete machinery, giving rise to frequent breakdowns and reduction in capacity utilization rates. Low technology is responsible for the inability of local industry to produce capital goods such as raw materials, spare parts and machineries, the bulk of which are imported. So much more to be desired. This has been blamed on frequent power outages. Hello, I hear somebody saying we don't have lights. This has been blamed on frequent power outages, lack of funds to procure inputs, falling demand for manufacturers and frequent strikes and other issues to be addressed squarely. Therefore, the key to unlocking access to risk-adjusted capital for MSME involves many factors and elements to consider, such as capacity building, training, corporate governance, proper awareness of and on MSMEs, review of national policy on MSMEs, financial reporting, financial sector characteristics, and compliance with regulation requirements. Strong institutional quality, government effectiveness, control of corruption, better infrastructure, business environment, good governance, political stability, transparent institution support, digital marketing due to the limitation posed by COVID-19, board structure, composition, etc., etc., etc. Capacity building and training. To generate dynamic, applicable, optimum, and performance during MSME management. Skills, capacity building, and competence necessary for the nurture and delivery of effective, sustainable, and robust micro-enterprises are needed. Also, acquiring adequate training that will enable the MSMEs program managers to acquire applicable and excellent microfinance management skills and competencies necessary for the design, execution, and evaluation of effective microcredit programs and knowledge-based MSMEs. You agree with me, if you don't even know what you are doing, you cannot get what you want. Knowledge is key, as we've heard. So we need to build our capacity to be able to assess. Corporate governance. If Nigeria must drive the MSME's development, corporate governance structure must be put in place. And these will prevent multiple taxations and other unwanted means of extortion. And we also guarantee access to finance and other benefits. Businesses' case for corporate governance is a good catalyst for SME expansion in Nigeria. Proper awareness of and on MSMEs. Micro, small, and medium enterprises in Nigeria need a lot of awareness on MSMEs so as to operate profitably, healthy, and competitive businesses. Due to lack of awareness, some operators of MSMEs emit certain practices that is dangerous and unhealthy to the society and MSMEs in Nigeria in general. Review of national policy on MSMEs. Over the years, government has initiated a large number of national policies addressing various sectors, areas of national development. Many of these have implications for MSMEs development and must be taken into account in the initiation of MSME policies. You agree with me that the government has come up with so many national policies that they are not really domesticated. We have so many interventions, but those cannot really drive development if the proper thing is not done. So we need to rejig the policy, government policy on this sector, which will help mitigate the risks on access to capital. Review of national policy on MSME. Sorry. The success of MSME requires the harmonious involvement of all relevant ministries, departments, and agencies at the various tiers of government and the organized private sector. The government and stakeholders of MSMEs must be engaged in SMEs policy making rather than design, and then enforce the policy implementation on the neck of MSMEs. Most often, we the players in the sector will just wake up to see these policies, this and these laws, and things just change without being carried along. So you see, they said you only know where the shoe pinches when you wear the shoes. He who wears the shoes knows where it pinches. So it will be best. One of the areas that will really assist us in unlocking the access to capital is when we sit down, dialogue with the government, different stakeholders, and formulate policies that is best suited for the operators of the sector. Financial sector is a very important role, very, very important. The financial sector characteristics and compliance with regulations. Banking sector characteristics and financial regulations can also play an important role for SME access to formal financial services, especially bank profitability, proxied by bank return on equity, increased bank bank some funds with commercial banks to be loaned out MSMEs. This could have actually helped players in that sector to access funds and improve their businesses. However, because of the mindset of making profit, not thinking of the general well-being of the nation, the banks are more first and foremost about their profit making. You see, it becomes so tedious and difficult to access such loans. So these things needs to be looked into, so much so that the money, Development Bank of Nigeria or so, I know they start some money with commercial banks, most times single digit interest. However, it's usually difficult for the end users to access those funds. Why? Because of their characteristics of the bank. Access quality measured by the ratio of non-performing loans to total loans. High NPL ratio could reduce banks' willingness to lend to smaller and riskier borrowers such as MSMEs. A lot has been said about this sector. Medium, small scales enterprises. Many banks will not want to give loans because they are risky, according to them, to small players in the economy. You don't want to give loans to small players. I wonder how they will grow. So all these things are issues that are mitigating against small players in the MSME sector that needs to be looked into. Bank deposit, higher reliance on bank deposit provides more stable funding for banks and could facilitate lending to MSMEs. Banking sector stability. A more stable banking system increases confidence and could be associated with higher bank credit, including to MSMEs. Banking sector stability is measured by banks' Z score. We are grateful that, at least for now, we thank God that we've moved away from eras of bank collapsing, affecting business sector. It's a bit more stable now, and when it's stable, it will really grow the economy. Financial sector regulation, banking sector regulation and supervision are critical to monitor and address potential emerging risks and to support financial deepening and inclusion programs. Effective regulation should therefore be associated with a safer financial system, which will benefit SME financial inclusion. Other keys to unlocking access to risk-adjusted capital for MSMEs include, but not limited to, strong institutional qualities, government effectiveness, control of corruption, better infrastructure, business environment, conducive business environment, good governance, not when every government that comes in with a different policy. Political stability, transparent institution support, digital marketing as a result of the limitation brought by COVID-19, MSME board structure composition, engage with development financing for pilot state programs of MSMEs, data analysis, just like the World Bank, which is also working with the country level to assess policy and regulatory barriers to MSMEs finance and to survey financial services providers. Digital identity, very important. Digital identity. And let me just say a little about digital identity is actually changing the landscape, and it has come to stay. It will really help to bridge the gap between the undeserved MSMEs to access to finance. If we go the way of digital identity, it will become less cumbersome to get loans and so from the banks. Regular conduct, monitoring and evaluation team for quick updates on MSMEs, excellent management of MSMEs, which conveys trust among the operators and stakeholders. The list can go on and on. But unlocking access to risk-adjusted capital for MSMEs is a serious issue that can bring the unstructured numerous SMEs to structure SMEs in Nigeria, thereby increasing the country's GDP, reducing unemployment. Since the commencement of COVID-19 pandemic, there is disruption, negative one for that matter, by the pandemic to our economy. As we know, SMEs are the life wire of every economic development in every nation, which represents a very important economic sector in both developed and developing countries, as they account for a large share of the total number of firms and employment. I won't want to go to statistics, we've heard that here, it has been rolled out, and I'm proud to say that the higher percentage of the operators in that sector are women. Other means and keys to unlocking access to risk-adjusted capital for MSMEs will continue to be discovered to finance SMEs in Nigeria. MSMEs' access to finance can be supported by offering alternative financial mechanisms, such as factoring or financial leasing, which can allow MSMEs to access cash faster and under more flexible terms than they could have from a conventional bank loan, regardless of their balance sheet. However, the cost incurred may be substantially higher than those associated with conventional bank financing. I wouldn't want to take much of our time. Once more, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I hope this should be an ongoing discussion. We can't say everything in one day. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming. We really appreciate it. Please, before you leave, let's present her award. Ms. Fatima, please. Please, you can clap now. Yes. Let's appreciate her. She said I shouldn't talk too much, so I will keep my cool. I won't say much. I will just appreciate her for the wonderful presentation. In her presentation, she mentioned that it's important that we build capacity through training and creating awareness of the MSME, and then financial reports and board structure. We should create all that. And this is what Tongston is doing. It's part of our model. Part of the services we render as an institution and as a company is we help in improving entrepreneurial education for primary, secondary, and tertiary institutions. You can see that in our collaboration with GSU. And also we assist in post-tertiary levels through Tongston Institute and College. Everything is presented here on our backdrop. We also have business development and advisory, capital and asset management through Tongston Ventures. So you have a small business, you need advice on how to scale your business, on how to improve your business. We have that facility for you at Tongston Tongston Ventures. Also, we help MSME to access to give them multimedia services through Tongston Media. You can see we have it there. So you want to produce some jingles, some adverts for your business, you want to put your business out there, okay, fine. You can reach out to Tongston Media. We also help with access to technology, data, research, accounting, treasury, legal, and government strategy. We also help with HR and administration strategies through parent company, which is Tongston Holdings. Why? I don't want to talk too much because you people will say, I'm selling Tongston. The reason why I'm here is to make you know what Tongston is all about. And I hope I've been able to do justice to that. When you leave this place, I believe you know what Tongston Entrepreneurial is all about. True or true? My people are not with me. True or true? Yes, thank you very much. Now we'll move on to the next presenter for today. And then after this presentation, we can have our lunch and then come back for the last bits, and then we can all go home. I know I'm not trying to keep you hostage here today. We are going to eventually go home, but it's just that we need to learn as much as we can today, because after today, the movement will be on virtual level, where we'll be meeting up with so many other and then strength system. All you need to do is just scan the code and you'll be able to join the virtual presentation. So our next presenter, who is going to be speaking on building partnerships with international development organizations for sustainable socio-economic development. The presentation will be made by Mr. Wale Samuel. He is representing USAID. I don't know how to pronounce it better, so I will just spell it out. USAID Entity Africa Regional Hub Coordinator, Mr. Wale Samuel. Please let us appreciate him. Let us appreciate him.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Wale Samuel. I'm the Africa Regional Hub Coordinator for the USAID project at the Africa level. And it's all about entrepreneurship and education as well. And I have to commend everyone for being here. Most of the times when you come for workshops like this, by the time it's a bit into the hour, you see the hall empty. But it shows how interested the people are in knowing, in following the trends, and also the youth as well. So my role here is to talk to this kind of partnership between international development partners and the local initiatives that we have. And it's very interesting, and I want to congratulate Engineer Tongo. This is very timely in the sense that I can speak for USAID. I may not be able to speak for UN, but the global thought with USAID in terms of relationship with Africa, it's about localization. So localization of knowledge, localization of evidence. For a long time, Africa has fed on the developing world in terms of they dictating our development agenda. So whatever they bring to us, we just take it hook, line, and sinker. But they are also now knowing that Africa has come of age, and they have a lot of things to learn from Africa. And so the project where I'm based is an Africa-wide project, and the objective of that project is to bring Africa initiatives like Tongston aboard, and then we sit together and then look at what is the best practice that is coming from Africa, and how can these influence global thinking. And that is why we have this platform. It's called Leading Through Learning. So it's very instructive. When you say leading, USAID wants to lead, but they want to lead by learning from Africa. So that's why it's called Leading Through Learning Global Platform. And we have 4 chapters. And initially when it started, we have a chapter on early grade reading. So a lot of people have criticized USAID on investing so much money on early grade reading. In Nigeria, for instance, we've invested so much money in reading in Hausa language at the basic level, because there is evidence that when children are taught in the language that they understand, they kind of learn faster. And then you transition to English in primary 4. And that has been very, very dynamic in terms of results that we've recorded in Bauchi, in Sokoto. In fact, because of that, we moved on to Fufude. We've now moved on to Yoruba, we've moved on to Igbo, and we realized that we are the only ones who actually have materials around this local content. And so at the higher level, we are also trying to see what we can do with Africans in terms of promoting local, domestic knowledge at the global level. So I sent some documents to the organizers, and I hope they will share with everyone. You are all welcome to join and come on board with us. Like I said, we have 4 chapters. We have one on early grade reading. We have another on education in conflict and crisis. Wherever you turn to, which is tragic, which is sad, wherever you turn to in Africa, you have to deal with one crisis or the other. Even the issue of out-of-school children is a crisis. It may not be a conflict like what you have in Borno State, but a crisis is when you have over 10 million children who are not in school. And then the last chapter, of course, is higher education. And then we have a 4th one, which we are trying to build. And why are we building it? Something around employability. And that speaks to the fact that the population of Africa, in terms of is massive, and they really have ambitions to be part of the overall development. So in terms of, so I want to take, having set that stage, I want to just take what I want to say within the relationship between higher education and learning network, which we have, and another chapter that we call the private sector engagement. So we're trying to balance the delicate relationship between the higher education and the world of work. And everyone who has spoken today has talked about the issue of workforce development. So what we want to achieve is that I just want to build on what others have said. And I think Dr. Vera talked a lot about the issue of demand-driven curriculum. And on the back of that, I want to say that the connection between industry and higher education can occur through the curriculum. When you have a curriculum that is responsive to the world of work, then you're going to, that's when you know that the country is really serious and means a business. So in a variety of ways, the curriculum can allow students to understand the current needs of industry while supporting creativity and agility in graduates. So the connection between industry and higher education can occur through a curriculum, like I said. Forging relationships between industry and higher education requires trust. Someone spoke from NUC, and I saw a lot of distrust. I mean, while I listened, I saw a lot of distrust between higher education and the world of work. And he said that private sector are kind of, not really willing to give students a chance because there's a huge gap between what you have in the schools and what you have in the world of work. But I want to say that without that kind of trust, we cannot have that. We can't close that gap. So I'll give you a regional context. What goes here? But in Africa, we have 420 million young people aged between 15 to 35. One third are unemployed, another third are vulnerably employed, and only 1 in 6 is in wage employment. The problem is not just unemployment, but underemployment. So the problem with Africa is not just unemployment, but underemployment. So there is that need to create employment opportunities for young graduates in Africa, and this will require different stakeholders along higher education institutions. And one way to facilitate the transition is through targeted participation in career fairs, training, flexibility in career job opportunities, and networking. Now, what I want to do is not just to bore you. Let me just demonstrate what has happened in some other parts of Africa. And I think that this is what Nigeria can replicate. This is what Tongston can do. It shows a lot of will. So this is what USAID has achieved in some other countries of the world in Africa, especially in building that gap, bridging that gap rather, between the higher education institutions and the world of work. So let me start with Morocco. So what USAID did in Morocco. So what we are trying to do is to advocate for USAID to be more involved in higher education initiatives in Nigeria. For us, we feel that okay, Nigeria has a lot of issues with basic education, but suddenly we are realizing that from basic education there are now a lot of issues with higher education. Now, as we saw strike, and we know the implication. So, what USAID has done in let me start with Morocco. So they created this Career Center program. Morocco Career Center program. It's a 5-year USAID funded program that bridges the gap between youth and employers by better connecting universities and vocational institutes with the needs of the labor market. So it's not all just about theory. USAID help in setting up the center and then putting in the necessary curriculum to bridge that gap, to be more pragmatic, bridge the gap between the world of theory and what is happening in the world of work. And in Ethiopia as well, you have the promotion training, education, transition investment, and livelihoods for youth. This funding also from USAID targeted resilience and food security. So the same thing in Ethiopia, like I said, and in all other parts of Africa. So one thing that USAID has demonstrated is that with the right curriculum, you can have a close relationship between the world of work and higher institutions. So you do this, you don't wait for students to graduate before they face the reality of what is out there. You take what is happening in the world of work to the schools. So whatever curriculum or whatever design that you are using as a private sector, you have a partnership with the higher education, and the students right from that place begin to have a sense of what the world of work has for that. But in Nigeria, I think what we've done is always to wait. That relationship is not too clear. In the US, for instance, you have a lot of research. So the private sectors fund the research centers, and students go in there, and then the private sector is like a cycle. The private sectors also go to poach those kind of students who have been well groomed in their own way of thinking. So there must be either through policy, either through legislation, there must be a kind of way in Nigeria where we can create institutions, bridge this huge gap between higher education and the world of work. So, with the leading through global platform project that I coordinate in Africa, I would invite every one of you to come and be a part of what we have called the social investment impact chapter. We have the social investment impact chapter for private sector initiatives where people like Tongston all over Africa come together, they have conversations. And in doing that, the beauty of it is that you design what you think is right for Africa. You sell that design to USAID. USAID looks at that design and they fund it. And that is why I said that USAID is thinking now is localization, taking from learning from Africa, Africa learning from the world, and then we come together and America puts a bit of its money to make sure that this works for Africa. So we have that for the private sector investors. For higher education, we have the higher education learning network, and this caters to the needs of researchers in universities. But one thing we have seen is that balancing the relationship between the private sector and the researchers in the university is it's a bit tricky. So that was why we initially were brought them together, but we realized that the private sector really wants to run. They don't have time for theory. So we have separated the private sector to have a conversation, and we have the researchers in the universities having their conversation. But the commitment that the private sector have given our project is any useful knowledge product that the higher education can bring to the table, they are willing to put their money in it. They don't want to just put in money without any research that will lead them to more success. Please, I would ask you, I think I sent it to the organizers, please, if there's a way you can let people also scan and register. We'll set up that, like I said, we're setting up 4 chapters. Wherever you think, if you are from the universities, you can join our higher education learning network. If you're in the private sector, you can join our social investment impact network. If you're a teacher and you're interested in early grade reading, basic education, you can join our early grade reading chapter. And if you are interested in using education to resolve conflicts and crisis, you can also join our education in conflict and crisis chapter. And you can have a very robust conversation with people all over Africa, even people all over the world. I was shocked. I had a clear demonstration of what they call globalization when we launched this project for Africa. We had 67 countries in the world participate, and Nigerians are all over the world. They were Nigerians. They wanted to know what is happening in Africa, and they were willing to be part of it. We had people from Baghdad, just name some very wide, far countries being part of that and wanting to import, bring back their knowledge to impact on what we're doing in Africa. So it's a platform that we have set up to have the young. What we're even doing now is like after setting up the private sector and all that, we now saw a lot of youth interest in the youth also want their own chapter. They want a platform to also talk. And so we are also in the process of setting up a youth chapter so that the youth can also go in there and have their conversation. So that is the platform that USAID is offering for Africa. And like I said, in terms of partnership, the times have changed. The world also knows that Africa has a lot to bring to the table. So the idea behind our project is to bring the best in Africa together. Give us your best ideas. We throw it out there to Washington and all over in a form of a concept note. You have to demonstrate that this idea works. And once you demonstrate that through a concept note, they look at it, they fund it, and it's back to Africa to make it work better for our people. So in essence, just wrapping up, talking about partnership. If there's one thing that I want you to take away from here is that The paradigm shift in partnership has changed. It's now about localization. A lot of people are now even talking about decolonization. That is something that is huge. If I start talking about that from here, we may not live here. So decolonization is about a simple idea. You cannot shave my head behind my back. So if USAID and all the rest are going to talk about Africa, Africa has to be on the table. And that is the new paradigm shift in terms of conversation now. And that is why I'm inviting everyone to join us at the Really Through Global Platform Africa chapter. And then look at the chapters that you want. Join us. We'll set out, I think, around October. And then we have the chapters group. And then we can have this conversation. And then your voice can actually be heard. And all the knowledge you have, the ones that we find practicable, can be funded. If they are not funded, the platform gives you an opportunity to talk to like-minded researchers, like-minded people cutting across Africa. So thank you very much, and I wish you success today and of course 3 days in the course of the activity. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
All right, thank you very much. Please, one more time, let us appreciate Mr. Wale for his thoughtful and impressive presentation. Already, I'm working on my ideas, and sir, I hope I want to push it there. I want people to see me as an entrepreneur MC. It's on you. You are here, you are listening. I hope you also become an entrepreneur somebody and push your idea out there and make Nigeria and make Africa proud. Please, one more time, let us appreciate him for his wonderful presentation. Now we will present some certain group of awards again for Hajia Bilkisu S. Ahmed. Please let us appreciate her. She made a presentation here earlier on, and the presentation was fascinating. Now it's time for us to appreciate and celebrate our presence here today. Please, we can do more. We can do more. She's going to collect 2 awards. Yes, double awards for her today. For herself, and we are not appreciating her enough. We can do better. Now, next on the award train is okay, yes. So he just finished his presentation right now. So Mr. Wale Samuel, please let us appreciate him. Already I'm lobbying for the space for me to push my idea out there. So if you people are not clapping, you don't want my mission to work. My mission statement is to get my ideas out there and let people represent me appropriately. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate you for coming and for the wonderful presentation. We can do more, we can do more, we can do more. Okay, so I mentioned earlier on that we will have a small lunch break. Now is the time for us to have that lunch break, but we don't want us to leave the hall. It will be served within the premise. So you can sit right where you are and we'll present the lunch to you. While we do that, we'll play a short video for Tongston and some of our products that we have. Just while you are munching on something, look at the screens over there and just find out what Tongston is all about from our short videos. Thank you very much, and then we'll be back for the remaining half of the summit. Also, networking is allowed. You can, if there's anybody you would like to speak to, they are here, they are with you. Walk up to them and strike up a conversation, network with people. That's the essence of this summit. I'm already planning to go and see my Dr. Jacinta. I'm already planning to go and see her to get my own idea of how to do some other things. Also, I will meet Mr. Wale. Yes, I'll meet him. I'll do my networking. Please do yours too. It's very important. Thank you.
This stuff is not high. Just go the stream so that it can back. It's your new Google. But